At the beginning of this story, we see the vast land of China. We are then told medicine fields, caves, beast chariots, flying boats, and secret places are scattered all over the place. The practitioners use the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. As a medium, realize the 5 realms of cultivation. Liaonin, Muan, Tongzhen, Chuan, and Lingu great practitioners have established their own powerful empires among them. The Great Zhou Dynasty is the most powerful and had the largest territory then. We listen to some people, and they are saying, "Oh my God, what kind of divine horse is this? I have never seen it before. This is the flowing cloud horse and the golden cloud train. It is the coolest carriage in heavenly Jedi City. I haven't seen it for several years, so today you'll be treated to a feast for the eyes." After some time, the horse carriage stops near the Great Zhou Heavenly Jedi City, and the man driving the horse carriage says to his master, sitting inside, "Master, we have arrived at Heavenly Jedi City. Do you want to get off at a Purple Robe Mansion? And we see that a man is sitting in a horse carriage who has a glass of red wine in his hand, and he is saying to that man, 'No need go to Chingu Tower.' And after listening to his words, the servant is thinking. As soon as he came back to the city, he went to the browl and spent money. He is worthy of being the young master of Oru family." Then the man sitting in the horse carriage drinking red wine tells about himself. "Not long ago, I don't know whether it was through time travel or possession, but I followed the prompts of this system to perform soul-binding infusion. I became the pillar of the Great Zhou Dynasty, the only son of the Purple Robe Marquis, the leader. Of the 36 divine marquises, the most famous prodigal son, Tianxia, which is the main character of this mana. However, after this system merged with my soul, it was in standby mode. Didn't notice any effect. I have had low cultivation since I was a child. It's not because of poor talent, but because I grew up under the pampering of my parents, and Tianxia's father says to Tianxia, 'My dear son, stop practicing all the time and go out more often to see the world. You see, this city is our family's property. When you get tired of playing here, Dad will buy the other half. It's a bit strange. Please bear with it.' And his mother says, 'That's right. You've been practicing for half an incense stick. Take a break. I've bought 20 new maids from Jan to massage your legs.' And Chuana further explains, not only did his cultivation level not improve, but his spending became increasingly larger, and people say about Chu Tianxia master. Chu is truly a living bodva who saves people from suffering, and Chu Tianxia goes to a shop and tells the shopkeeper, 'I heard that your family owns the best silk shop in Heavenly Jedi City. I want all your best fabrics.' And the shopkeeper says to Tianxia, 'You want the best, but all the things in this shop are the best.' So, Chu Tianxia says, 'Really, then take them all and bip the whole shop.' 'No, I want the ones in the walleyes too.' And Chu Tianxia is sitting in the horse carriage and thinking, 'Now I figured it out, living the life of a prodigal son can be fun then.' The horse carriage stops at a place, and his servant comes out and says to Tianxia, 'Young master, we have arrived at Chingu Tower.' Then as soon as Tianxia gets out of his horse carriage, when Tianxia comes out, everyone is very surprised to see his charm. Then they start talking about Chu Tianxia. 'Oh, this young master is so handsome. Come please, come in, please come in.' Then many girls surround Tianxia, and a man looking at Tianxia saying, 'Who is this with such a grand ceremony?' Then his friend tells him the FI prodigal son of the Purple Robe Marquis mansion, Chu Tianxia. And as Tianxia is going ahead, an old lady says to Tianxia, 'The young master has good eyesight. Our Qingru Tower is the largest Qing pavilion in Heavenly Jedi City. There are girls here that you can't imagine, but you can find them. Which girl do you want to choose?' And Chuan says to that old lady, 'Give me a private room on the 3rd floor. The name of the day, the windows should see the sea and warm. A few pairs of good wine to come up.' So the old lady says, 'The young master is an expert. He is so good at choosing the land. But I wonder which of these girls who accompany you have your eyes on.' And Chuana says to that old lady, 'Are the 2 famous brands from Chingu Tower still here? If they are here, please invite sisters Minglu and Enio and the old lady.' He says young master or regular customer. But the rule here is that a customer can only order one girl master. You can't break the rule. And Tianxia tells him, in addition to the two sisters Minglu and Inshio, I also ordered all the girls in these two books, one book go upstairs and serve one book laid out pleasing to the eyes, and the old lady gets surprised after listening to Tianxia. And she says to Tianxia NN, who goes around a tower like this, young master, you really like to joke. No, there is no such a rule. And after listening to that old lady, Tianxia shows her the money that is a spirit coin ticket, and Chu Tianxia says to that lady, really take a closer look. Is there such a rule? And so when the old lady is shocked to see all the spirit coin tickets and thinks this is a spirit coin ticket used exclusively by the wealthy in our Great Zhou Dynasty, the face value of one ticket is 50. So spirit coins, we ordinary people can survive with only 1,800 spirit coins a month. He spent 150,000 spirit coins. Then the old lady becomes very happy and she says, from now on, young master, you are the rules, you can play however you want, as long as you are happy. Girls, it's time to pick up the guests come out. And many beautiful girls started coming to Tianxia. And among them a girl is saying, looking at Tianxia, that's Master Chu. He is Master Tianxia, the only son of Purple Robe Marquis. Chuan, the first person to enter the heavenly Da through business, and the second richest man in the Great Zhou. Then all the girls started running towards Chu Tianxia. We see a man who is very shocked and says, it's the money-throwing young master. From before, right? He disappeared for a few years and is back again. And another man. He is saying, I heard that Master Chu never looks at the denomination of things, and he doesn't seek the best but the most expensive. And we see that Tianxia is sitting comfortably, and many girls are surrounding him, and one girl is feeding grapes to Chuona, and another girl is saying to Tianxia, I finally met Master Chu again. And the other girl says, after 3 years, Master Chu, you really want us sisters to die? Another girl says, Many people said that Master Chu had an accident outside Ba. They are jealous, and Chu Tianxia, happy with their words, puts a spirit coin ticket in a girl's mouth. Then he says, your little mouth is still as sweet as before. This young master is happy to hear that here 20 or 0 is a reward for you. Oh, this little hand is so slippery it is well maintained. Here is 30,000 spirit coins for maintenance, and Tianxia starts blowing a lot of money. And Tianxia is saying to those people, this girl's breasts have become smaller. Is she thinking what I think? Take the 50. 000 and buy some more papaya and show frogs to replenish your body. And seeing Chuan's generosity, all the girls become very happy, and they are saying, Kia, mine is obviously smaller. My breast have shrunk because of you, you see. And the other girl says if it's not obvious, you can touch it. Another girl says, you wish little. If master wants to touch someone, he should touch me first. But then a very beautiful girl comes to that place, and her name is Minglu, who is Chingu Tower top brand. And Minglu is speaking to those girls after all this fuss. You still don't even know how to help the young master to the side room. If you can't serve him, get out of my way. And all those girls get very surprised to see Minglu. Then Tianxia goes to Minglu and says to her, Minglu, you are here too. I found you a very nice hairpin outside. But Minglu says to Tianxia, Master Chu, we can keep joking later. We have something serious to do right now, so follow me. And Minglu whispers in Chen's ear, Sister Luling wants to see you. Then Minglu starts going upstairs with Chuona. And Tianxia opens a door, and then there is a beautiful girl in front of him. And her name is Mu Luling. And Mu Luling is saying, look at Tianxia. Master, Cheech you is. It really, I just heard Sister Ming Lily say that, and I couldn't believe it. I'm sorry, Ling shouldn't have doubted Master Chu. Master Chu, you once said you would help me break off the engagement. Remember, boo, then Tianxia starts remembering his childhood when he was young, and he is saying, she is my childhood playmate. When she grew up, her family arranged for her to marry Qin Yun. the 17th son of Qin Chuan, the Great Zhou Dynasty's divine marquis. Qin Yun was enlightened at the age of 4 and exercised his strength. At the age of 10, he crossed the thresholds of the 3rd and 6th levels of the Lianin and pursued the 12th level of Lianin at the age of 14. He successfully advanced to the lower realm of Mingam with an unrepeatable opportunity. Therefore, he is called the genius and the #1 talent in Heavenly Jedi City. His true combat power has reached the peak level of Mingu, but 3 years ago, Qin Yun became obsessed with evil. His power dropped by 1,000 miles, and he became a useless person at the first level of the Lenin because of the unbalanced mentality. He abused Luling and Mu. Luling has tears in her eyes, and she is holding Chu Tianxia's hand, and Chu Tianxia is thinking 3 years ago the original body promised to help her break off the engagement. But how can he help now after all? Facing that, according to rumors, with the help of the relic treasure Black Ring, his cultivation is recovering rapidly. Qin Yun, who is holding the template of the useless Destiny Child lead Ling to break off the engagement. Isn't it just a good opportunity for him to complete his 3 years of suffering, have the plug-in in place, and start his counterattack? I am the villain who puts pressure on Destiny's Child when he is in adversity become the first stepping stone on his road to writing cool articles. And then Chanaya's system shows Chuanxia the mission and asks him to select a mission, and Chua's system tells Chuana long-term continuous main quest to abuse my true destiny thousands of times, the prodigal. Son versus the Son of Destiny novice trial mission description. Please formulate a practical plan to break off the engagement before 3 p.m. Today, bring Muling the fiancé of the good for nothing. Son of Destiny, Qin Yun to break off the engage M, requiring at least 80 points of damage to Qin Yun. Completion reward, open the exclusive treasure house of the prodigal son, the endless treasure of heaven, failure penalty. Kill the host directly, and Chuanxia gets very shocked after listening to the system's words. And he says to the system, "Do you have to be so cruel? I am just a prodigal son who has nothing except money. What can I use to fight against the Son of Destiny? Isn't this clearly asking to die?" Then the system says to Chuanxia, tips. 1 damage value. Explanation: effective damage is related to the negative emotions of the chosen one, the damage received, the degree of luck, and whether the cohesion of the lineup is damaged. Anything that the host does to harm the interests of the chosen one can be converted into damage value to the chosen one. The specific manifestations are 20 points frowning, 40 points clenching fists, 60 points confusion, 80 points vomiting blood in the heart and lungs, 100 points inner demons abound. Tips 2. Going directly to break off the engagement and humiliate the person will only inspire the fighting. Spirit of the Child of Destiny with a maximum effective damage of 20 points. Tips 3. The prodigal's strongest weapon against his destined prince is his prodigal son. If before sunset the prodigal son has more than 300 0 spirit coins and receives a qualified lackey, there may be a surprise current amount of money lost, 0, and Chuanxia is very shocked after listening to the system's words, and he is thinking, before sunset, my life is almost gone. How can I have the mood to spend money now? Wait. Could it be that there is a novice gift pack hidden in the mission that can turn the disadvantage around, and the condition for activation is to become a spendthrift and become a lackey, and then Minglu wakes Chuan Xia up from his thoughts and says to him, "Master Chu, please don't be silent. You really need to help." Lu Lingling's wife was replaced by a concubine, and Qin Yun suspected that she was secretly taking revenge, so he tortured her in different ways. Lu Ling was forced to flee here and do jobs, but the Mo family are afraid of the Qin family and broke off relations with Lu Ling. What's even more abominable is that after Qin Yun knew where Lu Ling was hiding, it actually attracted the most lustful 19th Prince Dean Lu Ling to accompany him for drinking. If I hadn't acted in time, Liuling innocence would have been lost, and after listening to all of Mingo's words, now Chuanxia is feeling very angry, and he is thinking, I have heard about Chan's cruelty But I didn't expect that the Son of Destiny would do such scum and beastly things. I originally thought that it was a bit too much to break off the engagement in public and humiliate you. But now it seems you deserve it. And Tianxia is saying angrily, "It's not difficult to help you break off the engagement, but Qin Yun is blessed with luck and is the Son of Destiny. Perhaps it won't take long for him to make a name for himself, to build a career, or even to become the king and dominate the world. Will you still not be willing to draw near to him and share his glory then?" And remembering all those things, Ming's eyes are shedding tears, and she is saying, "What crying from the moment he asked me to accompany the 19th prince for drinking. He has been my mortal enemy. I hate him, and I hate the identity of Qin Yun's fiancé. Even more, all he wants is a tool, but Ling wants to be a human being. Luling, and he have different ideas and cannot work together." Then Chuana puts his hand on Ming's shoulders, and he is thinking, since she has made up her mind to risk everything, there is no reason for me to back down. Even if there is no such system task, I will still lend her a helping hand. Then Tianxia says to Muling Luling, "I will never go back on my promise to you 3 years ago. But you must know that there is nothing in this world that can be obtained without paying a price." And hearing this, Muling becomes happy, and she says to Tianxia, "What does Master Yu want me to do?" And Tianxia says to Muling, "Be my lackey." But both of them get confused after listening to Tianxia, and they are not able to understand what Chuana said. Then Tianxia takes out something from his pocket and says, "Perhaps being the lackey of the prodigal son would be a shameful thing in the eyes of others. But I want to tell you, Luling, be my lackey. You must avoid using the word shame. Here, this crystal card is your welcome fee." And Minglu gets very happy after seeing the crystal card, and she says to Chusha, "That is the Great Zhou, black crystal card, which is exclusively for the royal nobles. Ordinary people are not eligible to use it even if they have money." And looking at the crystal card, Minglu is thinking not to mention that each card can be used for at least 150,000 spirit coins. It is said that even if there is no money in the card, you can use this card to pawn 100,000 spirit coins at a bank. And Mu Luling takes the crystal card, and she is thinking, just give me the card so easily." Then Chuana says to Muling, "If you don't refuse, I'll take it as your agreement. Then the monthly salary in the initial stage, it will be calculated as 200,000 spirit coins. I will provide you with the necessities of life and the resources for cultivation. If you encounter any difficulties or don't have enough money, come to me. You can be given an additional 150,000 spirit coins every month to handle emergency situations." And Mu Luling gets a big shock after hearing what Shanna says, and she is thinking, this is too much. Then Tianxia gives the beast-controlling ring to Muling and says, "Here, this is my beast-controlling ring for the Golden Cloud and AA train. You can use it as a means of transportation. A prodigal son would never ride in a car worth less than 1 million spirit coins a second time. Now it belongs to you." And Mu Luling takes the beast-controlling ring too, and she is thinking, a car worth nearly 1 million spirit coins, and you gave it to me too. Is this the treatment for a lackey? Which lackey gets this treatment? And Minglu says to Muling, the Chen family's offering only amounted to 100,000 spirit coins a year, but Luling made that much in a month, sister. Luling, this is a blessing in disguise. And Tianxia says to Muling, "Luling, how many spirit coins would Qin Yun's 1 month's cultivation resources be converted into?" So Muling says to Tianxia, "My dear, the struggles in the Qin family are complicated, and Qin Yun is just a concubine's son. There were probably about 12,000 of them before, but now that the genius has fallen, there are only about 500 left." And listening to Muling, Chuana says smilingly, That guy's monthly salary at his peak was only 1/12 of yours. What can he use to compare with you now, Ling? You must not lose face when you go to cancel the engagement, especially you must not embarrass me. Do you understand?" And Mu Luling says Luling understands. Then Chuanxia turns back and says to Muling, "Hey, it seems you don't understand. You don't even know what is the most important thing about being my female lackey. Remember, the female lackey under my command must be beautiful and confident. Minglu before noon, I want to see a brand new Muling, and Minglu is carefully looking at the crystal. Card and Muling is saying, clothes from the golden silk house, the powder that makes you drunk with flowers. You pavilion's dressing table, give me everything you can. You don't have to save money for me. These famous brands are the favorites of the princess of the time. Each item is very expensive. I really need to buy all of them." And Minglu says his eyes somehow feel pitiful for Qin Yin and Chuanxia. After thinking something says, "No. It's not enough. There must also be 3 beautiful 7th-level treasures of the realm of cultivation as decoration. I want Lu Ling to blind Qin Yan's eyes with one glance. I want him to know that any item he steals from Lu Ling is worth more than him understand." And both are surprised to hear Chu Tianxia's words, and Minglu says to Chu Xia, "A treasure from the realm of true cultivation. A 7th level, 3 more, just 2 decorate Lu Ling." And Mu Ling is thinking a 7th level treasure. Many cultivators, in order to improve their cultivation, would spend all their wealth but still not be able to buy one. But Master Chu, and after listening to Minglu Chuan, gets a little serious. Then he says, "What you guys are saying is I'm poor." And hearing Chu Tanya's words, Muling gets a little nervous, and she says, "No, sir, we don't mean that." But Chuona laughs and says, "Ha ha, actually, I just like speeding money." Then Chuona turns back and looks at both of them and says to both of them, "After all, I am a man who can squander millions at the age of 8, and both of them get shocked after listening to Chania's words. Then Chu Tianxia tells them. He tells both of them, "Don't just stand there. Get started after this." The scene shifts to Kiochu family residence, and a servant is saying the young master is really a genius, Minu on PE broken dash. Then we see a man who is doing his cultivation, and his name is Chu. He the cousin of Tianxia, young master of the Chu family in Kyoto. Then the servant says to Chui, "Congratulations to you for breaking through." The peak of Mulian realm, before the coming-of-age ceremony, no one in the Chu family can match you, and you must be the next head of the family, and Chu. He says to the servant that may not be the case after all, since the Chu family was split into 2. In addition to our Kyoto Chu family, there is also the Heavenly Jedi, CHW family, my second uncle. The prodigal son of his family is also qualified to compete for the heir of the Chu family, and then a pigeon comes flying to Chui, and that pigeon has a message for Chui. Then Chui reads the message while teaching. He says that prodigal's son was so lucky that he actually returned to Heavenly Jedi City. Then the servant says to Chui, "Your cousin Chu Tian, so what if he goes back young? Master, you topped the list in the last autumn family's ancestral precept. Those who failed to win in 3 consecutive autumn exams are not eligible to inherit the family business." Chu Tianxia has already given up, and on hearing this, Chu he calms down. Then Chu asks the servant to leave from here, but the servant stays there. Then Chu he angrily says that you leave from here. Go away, and hearing this, the servant gets scared and goes away from here. Then Chu he is smiling, remembering some things. Then he moves his hand forward, and there is a ring in his hand, and then something purple is coming out of the ring. And Chu, he is thinking, of course, if the residual soul of the master in Xin Yan's black ring could make some noise, it would be even better. Then Chu Tianxia would be useless if he didn't die. Chu Tianxia, I will let you know that everything in the Chu family will be mine. After this, the scene shifts, and we see that some girls are getting Muling ready, and those girls are saying, "These earrings don't match Enio. You have such bad taste." And the other girl is saying, "Who picked this hairpin? The colors don't match." Another girl says, "Stop arguing. Have you chosen the treasures for the true realm? Why haven't they been delivered yet?" And Mu Luling is saying, while changing clothes, is it really appropriate to change clothes next to young Master Chu? And Minglu says to Muling, don't worry, not to mention that it's just a little bit exposed. Even if you take off all your clothes here, the young master won't reap. And another girl says to both of them, yes, also, the young master loved to visit Chinga. He never touched any of the girls. He just chatted and laughed when he came there. Almost all the sisters in the tower have received his kindness. Although the young master is a spendthrift, he is a very good person. Then Minglu whispers, in Ming's ear, let me tell you a secret. All the girls in the tower are betting on who can take the young master's virginity. And hearing this, Muling gets shocked. Then we see Tianxia, the system screen opens in front of him, and the system is telling Tianxia current amount of money lost, 675. 0 spirit coins detected, that there is a qualified lackey. Meet the conditions for issuing the Navy's gift package, novice gift package issued, and listening to the system. Tianxia is thinking, great. It's just as I expected. Let me see what treasures are in this gift package, and as soon as Tianxia clicks, the system says to Tianxia, congratulations to the host for getting a chance to receive Spiritual Spring Initiation, obtaining a Level 1 Lackey Halo 100 exchange points, and a dead tree. Resurrection fruit in Chuan. Xia gets surprised to hear this, and he is thinking, Spiritual Spring Initiation using the money spent to improve your cultivation. There is actually such a reward for completing the wasteful task. Then the system further says Lackey Halo. It can increase the abilities of all the lackey. Under the prodigal son, the higher the level, the better the effect. Lackey requirements, men must have the potential to become a favorite. Child of heaven, women's appearance must be rated above 80 points, and Chona is thinking, well, it seems that finding Muling as a lackey is already a fluke, and there is no hope of forming an army of lackey in a short period of time. And the system says to Tianxia, exchange points. It can only be obtained by completing system tasks and can be used to exchange items in the prodigal son's treasure house heaven, and Chuona is thinking similar to the exchange mall. Unfortunately, the system has not yet enabled this function, so I will ignore it for now. Then the system says dead fruit. Resurrection fruit is a rare and magical fruit that can condense or repair the soul. And Chu Tianxia is thinking, my cultivation is only at the first stage, and it is still a long way from condensing my soul. It would be useless if I used it. It's really strange that the novice gift package now gives something like this. Forget it. I'll think about the other things later and use up the Spiritual Spring Initiation first. Then the system says current. Amount of money lost 675. 000 spirit coins. Current remaining Spiritual Spring Initiation opportunities. 1. Do you want to receive the initiation? And Chu Tianxia closes his eyes and he is thinking, yes, this feeling, ugh, the power is flowing throughout my body, so comfortable. And a lot of spiritual energy starts going inside Tianxia, and when he releases the spiritual energy, it becomes a blade, and Tianxia is very happy to see this, and he is thinking, spiritual power is released, and the energy turns into a blade. Have I reached the peak of the 4th level of Leyan? Although Lenin is a basic realm practicing, it is also very time-consuming from the 1st level of the engine to the peak of the 4th level. Ordinary people would need at least several years, and even if they have high aptitude, it would take several months, but I only took 3 breaths. Then the system tells Tianxia current amount of money lost 0, and Tianxia is looking at the screen thinking with 670, 0 spirit coins. You can reach the peak of the 4th level of the engine. This is so worth it. In other words, as long as the amount of money spent is enough, wouldn't it be possible to get a Chuan or even Lingal in a matter of minutes, even though I'm a spendthrift? I can't really empty my hollis before I can earn some money. Unfortunately, the current task is to cancel the engagement, not to upgrade. If the task is not completed, you will still die. Although my current cultivation level can compete with Qin Yun. There is no guarantee that I will not fall into the routine of a destiny explosion and counterattack. In addition, Qin not only has Qin Gaja to take care of him, but what's more troublesome is that there is also a mysterious old grandfather. It is said that Qinu does not have the blood of the Qin family to be able to become the acting head of the family. She must have extraordinary intentions after Qin. Yun lost his cultivation. Only Qin, Xiaoxia, protected him. She must have some plan for Qin Yan's destiny. In this case, the old man with the black ring probably didn't have any good intentions towards Chinan. A dead tree. Resurrection fruit. Humph. Got it. Then the system tells Chu Tianxia. Dead fruit, resurrection. Fruit is a rare and magical fruit that can condense or repair the soul, and then Minglu comes to Chunsha, and Minglu tells Chunsha, young master. Miss Luling has taken care of everything here, and Chunsha becomes very happy on hearing this then. When he looks in front, Muling is in front of him, who is looking very beautiful, seeing whom Chuansha also cannot believe that this is Muling, and Muling really looks very beautiful. Then Chuana goes close to Muling and tells her it is true that clothes make the man and gold makes the Buddha. This girl is definitely worthy of being on the beauty list. And listening to Chu Tianxia's words, Muling starts blushing, and she is talking to Chuansha. Well, young master Chu, let's then, Chuansha puts his hand on Ming's head and says to Muling, don't call me young master Chu anymore. Call me young master from now on. So Muling says, yes, young master. Then Chuansha holds Ming's hand, and while taking her with him, he is saying, no matter how high your destiny is, you're still afraid of burning money. Come, let's break off the engagement. After this, the scene shifts, and we see a scene outside the city, and some people are talking, and one of them men is saying, the prodigal son of the Chu family brought Muling to the house and said he wanted to cancel the engagement. Then the other man says, ha, with their abilities. How dare they do that? Then we see a scene in the main hall, and an elder is shouting, what? Breaking off the engagement. Back, and the elder bangs his teacup on the table, and he is saying to Muling, Muling, you really dare to come and break off the engagement? I misjudged you. I thought you were reserved and polite, but I didn't expect you to be so shameless. You even brought the Chu family to back you up. Do you really think that there is no one in our Qin family, and he is elder of Qin family? Qin Chan Lin and Chuan Sha is drinking tea, smiling. Then he says to the elder, I know that your Chen family has a big shot like you, but don't rush to smash the plates, and bulls, after all, the victim and the acting head of the family have not spoken yet, and the elder gets very angry after listening to Chuona. Then he stands up from his place and is releasing his spiritual aura, and he is speaking to Chuan Sha. You're nothing but a loser. How dare you add insult to injury? And then a lady comes to that place, and that lady silences the elder, and the elder is very surprised to see that lady. Then that lady says to the elder, Chen visitors are guests, and this lady is acting head of Qin, family Qin. Xiao. Then Qin Chia says to Muling, this sister Luling, it turns out that she has found a noble man. Look at this outfit. There are 3 real-life treasures. The Chu family is really rich and powerful, and Mu Luling is listening to Qinjia's words silently. Then Qinjia is looking at a man, and she is saying, no wonder he looks down on our family. Then we see a man who is sitting comfortably at his place, and he is prodigy of Qin, family Qin, Yun, and Qin Yun is staring at Chuansha. Then Chino says to Chuansha, speaking of divorce, the important matter of marriage has always been decided by parents and matchmakers. The head is far away in Quito now. Although I am the acting head, I am not qualified to make the decision. It is better to wait for the head. Then Chuansha, picking up the cup of tea, says, I think you all misunderstood. I am not here to ask for your opinions today, but to inform you. And Chuansha shows them the marriage certificate, and it is written in it. The 2 families are united in marriage, and the marriage is eternal. They are matched with the same name. Look at the peach blossoms on this day, which are bright and suitable for the family. I predict that he will have a prosperous family and a long life. I respectfully write this promise to you, to be together until old age, on this red paper. I will record the oat of red leaves in the love genealogy. Then Chu Tianxia tears the marriage certificate, and he says, this marriage certificate is like Qin Yun invalidated, and tears the marriage certificate into pieces and throws it in the air, and Mu Luling gets shocked seeing this, and Qin Yun gets very angry, and he breaks the teacup. And Qin Xiao is saying to Chuan Xia Yoling, Master Chu is too overbearing. And now the elder Chu Tianxia is very angry with Qin Yun, and he is releasing his power and saying, no need to take action on behalf of the head. I will teach this loser a lesson. And Tianxia looks at Qin Yun while watching. He is thinking, Qin Yun, why don't you take action? I wonder how long you can endure this. And Qin Yan's head is bowed down, and Tianxia is saying to Qin Yun, why are you in such a hurry? Where have we gotten to? Now then Chuan Esh calls someone and says, Wang, will please bring Xiao in, and we see that two people have come to that place, and they have brought a box with them, and the first one of them, the man is saying, young master. They are all here, and the elder is saying in a very surprised tone, this Chinan was too dazzling back then. Is this the betrothal gift that the Mu family gave to Mu Luling in order to marry her into Arching family? And we see that there are a lot of gold coins in that box. And Tianxia is saying to them, although it has no value to me since you want to cancel the engagement, these things must be returned together, carry away. And both servants say, yes, young master. Then Chino says to the elder, this is too much. Elder Qin stopped them, and Elder gets ready to attack Chu Tianxia, and he has prepared a spiritual power attack in his hands. And while attacking both of them, he is saying, I'm here, who of you dares? And then both the servants are staring at the elder they are watching, and as soon as the elder attacks both of them, the elder's attack stops beforehand. And seeing this, the elder is very surprised, and the first servant is smiling and thinking upper realm of Ming Yuan. And both the servants say while leaving step aside, and Chuana laughs and says, what, you don't dare to stop me? That's right, after all, my two employees are both realm, and their monthly salary is higher than Qin Yan's annual salary, and all of the masters of your Chu family have followed the head of the family Qin Kang to Kyoto. Right? And after listening to Chuan Xiao, Qin Xiao gets very angry. And she is thinking the marriage certificate was torn up in front of her. The betrothal. Gifts were forcibly taken away. This cancellation of the engagement was too ruthless, Chu Tiana. Although I can't fight your Chu family head-on now, there is still a long way to go. Just wait and see how I deal with you. Then Chu Tiana says to Muling, Luling, since the engagement has been called off and the Qin family is all cowards now, there's nothing fun to do here, so let's go back. And Muling replies, yes, young master, and Chu Tianxia is taking Mu Luling away from this place, holding her hand. But then Chinan stands up, and while releasing his aura, asks both of them to stop, and Tianxia smilingly says, very good, Qin. Yun finally couldn't help it, and then Qin Yun grabs Ming's clothes and shouts at her, Muling, you are not even worthy of carrying my shoes. What qualifications do you have to wear? A treasure you are showing off in front of me, and after listening to Qin Yun, Muling is thinking, Muling, you have some potential. Don't be afraid of him. Young master has helped. You to this point you must not embarrass the young master. Then Muling shakes her hand and says to Qin Yun, let go trash, you don't deserve it. And Qin Yun gets very shocked after listening to Ming's words. And Chuana smilingly says to Muling, well, said Trash really doesn't deserve it, and Qin Yun is getting very angry, and he is saying, I will pay you back a hundredfold for the humiliation you inflicted on me today, and you Chuana. I will remember you. And Tianxia smilingly says to Chun, so what if you remember? At the same time, Tianxia is thinking very good. The ring lights up, which means the old man is awake too. Then Qin Yan says to Tianxia, the reason why you dare to come to my house and bully me today is simply because you rely on your prominent family background. If I were still the Galst I was 3 years ago, or even better, would you still dare to come? But Chuanxia is smiling after listening to Qin Yun's words, and he is thinking, very good. Keep your anger going. And Chuanxia says to Qin Yun, it's useless to talk like that. You know you are not the same person you were 3 years ago, and now Qin Yun is very angry, and he has taken out his spiritual dragon, and he is saying, yes, today I am very weak. I accept the loss. But I want to give you a piece of advice. Point 30 years in the East, 30 years in the West. Don't bully the poor young people. And now seeing this action of Qin Yun Qin XOXIA is getting very happy, and she is thinking, this aura, it's like returning to 3 years ago. That indomitable boy with destiny and the elder is also getting very happy. And he is thinking, this is more powerful than 3 years ago. God bless our Qin family. And Qin Xoya is bearing the pressure of Qin Yan aura with great difficulty. And she is thinking, ugh, hold on. Don't let yourself be shocked and fall down. And Chuanxia is also a little surprised to see Qin and Zora, and he is thinking, is this destined man power, after 3 years of wasting time, he can still develop such a domineering aura? Great. It's time to use the big move. But Chuanxia smilingly shows something to Qin Yun and says to him, since you said don't look down on the poor young people, then I will give you a chance to prove yourself. Today, this treasure is for you. TSK, come and get it. And as soon as Chun sees that fruit, he gets very shocked, and he says, dead tree. Resurrection fruit, among all the spiritual medicines for repairing the soul. The most effective one is the dead tree. Resurrection fruit. At the same time, Qin Yun is thinking, this is a priceless treasure, not to mention that I can't afford it in my entire life. Even if I can buy it, it is extremely rare on the market, and it is impossible to get it. But he just took it out and said he wanted to give it to me. And then an evil old man in Cheyenne's mind says, a dead tree resurrected fruit. Her God is really helping me. Yun Bui, hurry up. Take it with it. I can soar to the sky. You can also return to the peak of destiny. And the old man is becoming very happy, and Chu Tianxia is smilingly thinking, Qin Yun, if he follows the script, he will definitely refuse to accept the villain's treasure and show off his heroic spirit in front of Qin Xiao, and Qin Xiao will devote herself to your cool story that night. Unfortunately, I have changed the script now. The villain has offered an irresistible price. I wonder how you will respond. Then Chuanxia says to Qin Yun, now that we know each other, don't just stand there, let's get started. And Qin Yun is surprised to hear Chaina's words, and he is saying, start what? Then Chuana puts the fruit in front of Qin Yun and says to him, start proving it. Didn't. You said don't bully the poor young people. According to your logic, you will definitely not be poor in the future. In that case, destroy this dead tree resurrection fruit now. And show me. And Qin Yun is very shocked to hear Chania's words. He is not able to understand anything. But the old man is saying to Qin Yun, don't listen to that bastard's nonsense. Hurry up and collect the fruit quick. But Qin Yun is not able to understand what he should do now. Then Chuanxia again says to Qin Yun, what you can't bear to destroy it, isn't it? Don't bully the poor young people. Don't you think you will definitely be successful in the future if you have a bright future? Why do you care about this? What is this? Don't bully the poor young people, that's just... And Qin Yun is very confused. And he is thinking, as long as I eat this fruit, I can immediately return to the peak of my destiny. No, how can I, Qin Yun, a man of honor, be humiliated by this prodigal son? Just destroy this fruit. But the old man is saying to Qin Yun, boy, what? Are you still hesitating about a real man can bend and stretch? This little humiliation is nothing. As long as I recover my spirit and soul, I will teach you 2 moves. Don't say that killing him is like killing a dog, even if it is the Chu family. And then Qin Yun gets very angry and says to the old man, "Shut up, old man. You're not the one who suffered this great humiliation. Of course you don't care. But where is my dignity? Where is my pride? If I accept this charity, what am I? Is this a joke?" But the old man is saying to Qin Yun, "Bastard, you are a jerk. This is going to turn the world upside down, I order you to," and Qin Yun is having a severe headache after listening to the old man's words, and he is saying to the old man, "Stop making noise and seeing." Qin Yun's condition muling gets confused, and she is thinking Qin Yun, who was so powerful just now, was defeated in an instant. The young master is really good at tricks, and Chuanxia is smiling, but now he is feeling bored. Then he drops the fruit on the ground and says to Qin Yun, "Since you don't dare, I'll do it." And as soon as Qin Yun sees that Chuanxia has dropped the fruit, he moves his hand forward to catch that fruit. But then Sha presses that fruit under his feet, and smilingly he says to Qin Yun, "Look carefully what you are struggling for. I have it here, not worth mentioning at all." And Chuanxia crushes that fruit with his feet, and seeing this, Qin Yun gets very shocked. And a lot of blood starts coming out of his mouth, and his condition becomes very bad. It seems that Qin Yun has become a zombie, and Qin Xiaozia is saying, looking at Qin Yun, "Brother, don't be like this." And Chuanxia is smiling and thinking very good. Qin's expression just now was disappointing. Humph. Luckily, I didn't take the dead tree resurrection fruit myself and fight Qin Yun head-on. Instead, I used it to alienate them. Otherwise, Qin Yun has a destiny on his side, and the Qin family is united against the outside world, even if they manage to defeat Qin Yun. By chance, he will definitely escape at the critical moment at that. That time, he could just jump off a cliff to pick up a treasure, find a treasure land, and peek at a girl. Taking a bath practice randomly for a while, and when he appears again, he can break through 7 or 8 levels, and now Grandpa is alienated, Qinia is disappointed, and Qin Yun is plagued by demons. What could be more damaging to destiny than this? Wait. There is one more ultimate humiliation, and Chuanxia, looking at Muling, says to her, "Luling, you can now pay back the humiliation you suffered before." Then Mu Luling says to Chuanxia, "Yes, Luling, thank you very much, young master." Then Luling grabs Qin Yun's collar and says to him, "Qin Yun, when you turned me from a wife into a concubine, did you ever think this day would come?" And now Muling starts slapping Qin Yun a lot and is saying to him, "When you stabbed me with needles and splashed me with oil, did you ever think that this day would come when you gave me to the 9th prince? Did you ever think this day would come?" Qin Yun looks like he has gone into a coma due to the Shah, and then Zia asks Muling to stop. Then she goes to Qin Yun and says, "Don't worry, little brother. Your sister is here," and Qinu is thinking, how could a young man who was once destined to be defeated like this? And then the system says to Chuanxia, "The collision of ice and fire. Don't bully the poor young people. Mission progress. The inner demon of the Son of Destiny has grown. The grandfather is alienated, and the queen is disappointed. The cohesion of the Destiny lineup has dropped by 2 levels, and the luck has dropped. By 1 level comprehensively evaluated, the host successfully caused 150 points of damage to the loser son of Destiny Qin Yin. Mission reward, 1 golden chance to win a prize, 1 chance for spiritual spring initiation, get 500 exchange points, endless. Treasure of heaven. Authorization is 100% unlocked, 7% off all exchange prices, hidden items unlocked, 5%. Mission evaluation. The host noticed and avoided the murder behind the scenes and successfully defeated the Prince Charming by spending money. He is worthy of the title of the world's #1 soldier. And Chuanxia is very happy to hear this from the system, and he says that my work is done here. Then Chino says to Chuanxia, "Young Master Chu is really generous. A dead tree. Resurrection. Fruit that is not in the market stepped on. It really opened Xiaojia's eyes. Humiliating others at such a high cost must be Flynn beforehand, but regretful afterwards." And Chu Tianxia says to both of them, "Oh, you guys think it's rare because you're poor. I have plenty of this kind of stuff, I just step on it for fun. And now Qin Yun gets very angry after listening to Chuanxia, and he directly goes ahead to attack Chuanxia, and he is saying that I will kill you, but then we see that Muling comes in front of Chuanxia, and she shows her sword to Qin Yin, due to which Qin Yin stops, and he says, "What do you want to do at the same time?" Qin Yun is very surprised, and he is thinking, how is it possible her sword-drawing speed is so much faster than before? Could it be that this duck has practiced hard, and Chuanxia is smiling and thinking with the blessing of the lackey, Halo Lying's cultivation has also improved a lot. Then Muing says to Qin Yun, let's make a bet in March during the autumn exam. We'll have a showdown if I lose. I will count out to you and apologize, and I will destroy myself. Give me the black ring on your hand, do you dare to take a gamble? And after listening to Malulu, Qin Yun is getting very angry, and an evil aura is coming out from inside him, and he is saying to Muling, "Bah, you are so arrogant because you think I am totally useless. 3 months later I will return today humiliation, H100-fold and seeing Qin Yunk. Condition, Qin Zia thinks Yun forget it. He was insulted after all, so he behaved like this. This kind of behavior is also, well, just let him do what he wants." Then Qin Jia says to Muling, "Well then, since you are so upset, just bet." And now Muling and Chuanxia start leaving from here. And Muling says to Chuanxia, "Young master, let's go." And while leaving, Chuanxia thinks Luling, this silly girl, is she doing this to help me recover my losses? Although she had the halo of a lackey, she was afraid that she had completely underestimated the difficulty of fighting against the Son of Destiny. And then the system says to Chuanxia, long-term continuous main mission, I abused my true destiny thousands of times. The prodigal son versus the son of Destiny Mission 2. The man who protects his own shortcomings, and the prodigal son reverses the March agreement. Mission description in the autumn test helped Muling defeat his destined love Qin Yun head-on during the competition. The host is not allowed to take action. Completion reward penalty for failure. Directly kill the host. Tip 1, according to the normal calculation. 3 months later, Muling and host can only reach the 9th level of Lenin, while Qin Yun will reach the peak of Ming Yuan. And the difference between the two is 9 small realms. Tip 2. No one can cross the border and defeat the Prince of Fortune unless the prodigal is the prodigal's strongest weapon. Tip 3. In view of the great difficulty of this mission, the system has issued an auxiliary side quest which the host can take on without any effort. And Chuanxia is thinking Luling was able to reach the 9th level of the Lionin in just 3 months, which was already considered a genius. I didn't expect Qin Yun to be so amazing. The useless guy is indeed the vanguard of the true prince, and I have screwed him over so badly it can actually make a strong counterattack. If this is the original version, it would be beyond the SC guy. Then Muling says to Chu Tianxia, young master, what's wrong with you? So Chu Tianxia says, Luling, if I tell you by the time of the Great Autumn Examination, Qin Yun will soar to the sky and be promoted to the peak of mullion, are you afraid? So Luling says, although it sounds unbelievable, Luling is not afraid, because the young master taught me a truth today. The more I fear him, the more I will be trampled under his feet forever. And Chuanxia is saying, yes, Luling is right. We are not afraid of him as long as I am here. Young master, I will make you win no matter what. Then the system says to Chua, in view of the great difficulty of this task, the system will release an auxiliary side mission, and the host of this side mission can choose to take over auxiliary side. Mission comprehensive suppression and seize opportunities. Mission description, suppress the useless G-Nun in advance so that he can only reach the middle of minion in 3 months. Completion, reward, failure, penalty, deduct 1 million from the amount of money lost. If the amount is sufficient, the host will be killed. Current amount of money lost, 0. Tip 1. Grandpa credibility is related to the absorption of equipment. If you can completely suppress the Chen family's related industries and cut off their resources, it will be very effective. Tip 2. The upcoming autumn night banquet will be a great stage for the Prince of Fortune to perform. If you can outshine the others at the autumn night banquet, you will be pleasantly surprised. And listening to the system Tianxia is thinking, these two hints are clearly the beginning and first flight of the common routines of destiny. During these two stages, the momentum of destiny is the strongest. Once it is suppressed, it will definitely have a profound impact on his subsequent development, especially the first light of autumn night banquet. Not only the dignitaries gathered, but also the princes and princesses were in charge. This is directly related to the seed selection for the autumn exam. It has always been a battleground for young talents. The top scorers of the grand autumn examinations in every dynasty were also the best performers at the autumn night banquet. At that time, Qin Yun was show his skills at the autumn night banquet, inspire the aura of kingship and attract the attention of the powerful and the dignitaries. What's worse, the prince gave away money and power. The princess gave away resources. Then Chuana holds Ming's hand and is taking her with him, very fast. And he is saying, "Let's go, Luling, come back home with me." And listening to Chuan's words, Muling gets shocked, and Chu Tianxia is saying to Muling, "Yes, if you want to lose money, go home first." After a while, we hear some people talking, and they are saying, "What the hell, hasn't there been any news about that prodigal son for 3 years? I thought he had died out there, huh?" Don't talk nonsense. He's the young master of the Purple Robe Marquis family. If you keep gossiping, you're going to kill yourself. So what, isn't that little bastard a loser with no future? And Tianxia is at his home. He would have reached near the gate, and looking at Tianxia is saying that he goes to a... And the second man says, "I don't know how many years it will take for the Purple Robe Marquis' great fortune to be ruined by that kid, yeah?" And as soon as Tianxia goes inside his house, Tianxia seeing this, all his servants get very surprised and they start saying, "Young master? Young master is back, go and tell them, madam. The young master is back, madam, the young master is back." And as soon as Chen's mother hears this, she starts running towards Chania. And his servants are telling Chua's mother to walk slowly. And Chania's mother's name Chu is a fan. And as soon as Chu Tianxia's mother sees Tianxia, she hugs him and says to him, "It's been 3 years. You finally came back to see me." And Tianxia is saying to his mother, "Mom, I am already grown up in public, you." And after listening to Tianxia, his mother controls herself and wipes her tears from her eyes. While asking Tianxia, she says, "Woo. So fierce little Xia has grown up and dislikes her mother. Woo." And Tianxia says to his mother, "Mom, can you please stop pretending to be an 18-year-old girl? There are so many people watching. Besides, I have something important to discuss with you. This time came, can we talk while we walk?" And her mother tells Tianxia, Okay, I will listen to little Xia." But then Tianxia's mother, Noti Brothel, and 2 other books, one to serve you and the other to please your eyes. It's amazing that he could come up with this way of playing Xia something when she sees Mu Luling and says, "Huh, wait, isn't this the daughter of the Mu family? Why is she following you?" Then Mu Luling greets Chania's mother and she says, greeting Madame Luling had already severed ties with the Mu family because of her engagement with the Chen family, fortunately. "The young master has shown his love for me and just helped me break off the engagement Liling. Now only wants to follow the young master wholeheartedly." And then Chuan's mother starts looking at Tianxia. Then Tianxia asks his mother, "Mom, why are you looking at me like that?" Then Chu Tianxiao's mother says, "Hey, little shout, don't be nervous at this time. I won't say anything cliché like big butts are good for giving birth. Don't you know who your mother is? Well, your breasts are big enough, so your little grandson won't be hungry." And after listening to Chen's mother, Muling is not able to understand what to say. And Tianxia's mother further says, "It's all good news. Don't just stand there. Let's talk while we walk. My poor Xia has lost weight. He must have suffered a lot in the past 3 years, right? These crystal cards are some pocket money that your mother saved for you as a mother. I know your temper, so I specially divided your money into several crystal cards, so that It is convenient for you to throw money in people's faces when you spend it. How about it, am I not a caring mother? Then Tianxia says to his mother, thank you so much. Please tell me the total amount. So his mother says it's not much, just 2 million spirit coins. Little Sha will use it for 2 days first. When it's all gone, mother will give you more. And as soon as all the servants hear his mother's words, they all get very shocked, and they are thinking, I finally know how the young master became a prodigal son. 2 million, a sum of money I will never see in my lifetime. You call it pocket money with these spirit coins. Even a pig can become a monk. Using a credit card to slap someone in the face is squandering money. Something to be proud of. God is so unfair. Why don't I have a mother like this? Then Tianxia is looking at the crystal card and saying, oh, it's not much indeed. But if I save a little, it should be enough. But Mom, I want to go big this time. And this little money might be gone tomorrow. So, you have to be mentally prepared. And as soon as all the servants hear Chania's words, they all get very shocked, and a lot of blood starts coming out of their mouths. And they are thinking, what does it mean to save money and squander money? Save. Some, it will be gone tomorrow. Mom, I don't want to live more. Then Chu Tianxia's mother asked Tianxia, oh, is little Xia going to do something big? You are really worthy of being little Xia. So amazing. You can spend plenty of likes, and we see that all the servants faint after hearing Tianxia's words. Then Tianxia smilingly tells his mother, yes, mother, I plan to play a game of coin toss and grab a piece of land. Then Chania's mother smilingly says, great little Xia Mom hasn't played for a long time. We see Tianxia following his mother, and Tianxia is talking to his mother, Mom, why are you the only one at home this time? Where's Dad? So his mother says, oh, your father went to Kyoto, and he probably won't be back for a month or so. And hearing this, Chu Tianxia says to his mother, now is not the time for court meetings, and my father has gone to Kyoto. Perhaps those old guys in the Chu family are causing trouble again. So his mother says to Tianxia, oh, isn't it just a rumor that you're going to the Qin family to break off the engagement? It's no big deal, your dad can handle it. But it's funny, we just heard the rumor that you were going to break off the engagement, but we didn't expect that you had already broken off the engagement. In other words, the break-off came first, and the rumor came later. This is really, then Chuona laughingly says to his mother, ha ha, this is really the enemy's determination to destroy me. Fortunately, I acted early, making the other party's rumor attack become a laughingstock. Chui must be so angry that his nose should be crooked now, and Tianxia is imagining while saying this. Then his mother says, little Xia did a great job, but the way she thinks is not cute at all. Didn't you say you wanted to play coin tossing with me? Come on. I can't wait. Xia, see you. I go get the map of Heavenly Jedi City, and Chu Tianxia's mother's servant brings the map and spreads it. And Mu Luling is very shocked to see the map, and she is thinking this map. So detailed industries, land, sex, and schools are all on it. But what do the dense circles and crosses on it? Meme, what does it mean to toss a coin to determine the location? Then Tianxia's mother takes a gold coin in her hand and throws it on the coin, which stops after rotating on a territory. But Tianxia's mother gets a little disappointed, and she is saying, how come it's thrown onto our territory again? And Tianxia is saying to his mother, Mom, you're always like this when you play. You're so unlucky if we depend on you. How can we buy new land? And Mululing is very shocked. And she is thinking, so tossing a coin to determine a location means you have to buy the land wherever the spirit coin lands. It turns out that these circles and crosses are all the Chu family's assets. Oh my God! I finally understand where the young master got the confidence to ruin the family. Then Tianxia holds the gold coin in his hand. Then he says to Muling Luling, it's your turn, and Mu. Luling gets a little nervous after listening to Tianxia, and she nervously says to Tianxia, me no young master. This matter is of great importance. Luling dare not. At the same time, Muling is thinking a piece of land on the map the size of a spirit. Coin would cost at least 100. I am just a lackey. But Chuona gives a gold coin to Muling and tells her this is an order. and Chania's mother is also cheering up Muling and saying to her, "Yes, Ling girl, you are one of us. Now little Shah asks you to come, so just give it a try. It's fun." And now Muling agrees. Then Mul Luling throws the gold coin on the drunkard while spinning it while saying, "Since the young master has given the order, then Luling will dare to do it," and the gold coin stops on a territory while spinning. And Muing is saying, "Young master, this area seems to be a wasteland. How about we start over?" And Chuona happily puts his hand on that territory, and he is saying, "Humph. What we want is wasteland. The spirit, coin is turning too slowly, I might as well just buy everything that is covered by my palm." And Mu Luling gets very shocked after listening to Chu Tianxia's words, and she is thinking, "Oh my God, this slap from the young master is equivalent to expanding the area of the land to be purchased several times, at least 1 acre. If this were an ordinary piece of land, it would not be a big deal, but it is a rare and precious wasteland." Then the narrator tells us the so-called wasteland is the place that is recognized as the place where the spiritual energy of heaven and earth gathers the most, because it is mostly filled with violent spiritual energy. No grass grows there all year round, and it looks like a desolate place, like a divine object hiding itself in obscurity. It is an excellent place to refine various elixir talismans and treasures, especially refining tools. Generally speaking, small wasteland is not worth much, but the larger the wasteland, the more valuable it is. It is not uncommon for the size of wasteland to cause the land price to double. Then Mul Luling says to Tianxia, "Young master, I'm afraid that you can't negotiate this piece of wasteland without 1,000,000 spirit coins." But Tianxia laughingly tells Muling, "Ha, that's why I told Mom that little pocket. Money will be gone today." And Tianxia's mother is saying, "Well, little Xia is awesome, but why did you buy such a large piece of wasteland as a mother? I remember that little Xia didn't seem to have much interest in refining treasures." And Chu Tianxia says to his mother, "But to make jewelry look mother, with such a large piece of land and such a large scale, you can definitely make a lot of fine jewelry, right? When it come out, every girl in Heavenly Jedi will get one, no matter who the girl is, big or small. I will give a pair to everyone I see how wonderful." And after listening to Chano's words, all the servants' mouths start bleeding, because Chuen's words are very shocking for them, and they are thinking, 1,000,000 spirit coins to circle, a huge wasteland, not to make treasures, talismans, or elixir, but only to make jewelry, refining jewelry. I naively thought that though 1,000,000 spirit coins pocket money I just experienced was the peak of my spending, and the female servants are also very shocked, and both of them are thinking we are considered to be people who have seen big scenes of squandering money, especially the coin-tossing game, but this is the first time I've seen this scene, right? And Chu Tianxia's mother is very happy with his words, and she is saying, "Wow, does little Xia mean to give me jewelry? This is so thoughtful." And Tianxia is saying to his mother, "Mom, don't do this." Then Tianxia's mother says, "But it seems that the Qin family has been discussing this piece of wasteland." And hearing this, Chu Tianxia says, "Really then, I have to take it down." And then the system says to Tianxia, "The grandpa's inheritance is related to the absorption of equipment. If the Chen family's related, industries can be completely suppressed, and their resources can be cut off. It will have a miraculous effect." And listening to the system, Tianxia is smiling, and at the same time he is thinking according to the system prompts. It is just as I guessed for Qin. Use cultivation. The Qin family will definitely buy wasteland everywhere to refine artifacts. Therefore, as long as I am willing to spend a lot of money to compete with them for the wasteland resources, I can severely suppress Qin Yun. Then Tianxia's mother says to Tianxia, "I understand what little Xia means, but I heard that the Chen family has already paid the deposit, and the land deed is about to be handed over if we intervene. Now can we get it? Then I will listen to little Xia as, for the candidates for the Negot negotiations, your father has transferred many capable people away this time. Now there is only one steward Chio left in the mansion. Although this person is not outstanding in ability, he is still, and after listening to his mother, Tianxia is saying, "Mom, don't worry about it. Isn't the best candidate right here?" And hearing this, her mother becomes happy, and she is saying, "Luling, haha, sure. If little Xia says it's okay, then it must be okay." Then Tianxia says, "To Muling Luling, then I'll leave this matter to you." And Mul Luling says to Chuanxia, "Yes, young Master Luling will do it immediately." And Chuanxia gives a book to Muling and says, "Wait, Luling, take this book with you to entertain yourself on the road." And when Muling opens that book and looks at it, she gets very surprised after this. The scene shifts, and we see Qin Yun, who is practicing, and Qin Xia Xiao is saying to him, "Congratulations, why, in just a few sticks of incense, you have returned to the peak of the second level of the Lin." And Qin Yun pretends and says, "Hump, just a trial run, sister. I have recovered my genius, and returning to the second level of Lingyin is a natural thing. If you want to congratulate me, please wait until I reach the Mingan realm." And Chino becomes happy after listening to Qin Yun, and she is saying, "Oh, so you really have the confidence to return to Meilian within 3 months." And Qin Yun says with an evil look it was unlikely, but this is all thanks to that. If she hadn't come to break off the engagement and force me to be upset, I would never have the fighting spirit, and will I have now. Thanks to him, I will return to Malayan within 3 months. In addition, there are more opportunities to refine treasures and in the wasteland. And that lowly slave, haha, she has only reached the 5th level after more than 10 years, which is really mediocre. Even if she worked very hard in the past 3 months, she could only be at the 7th or 8th level of Lingen at best. How could she fight against me? 3 months at most, I will be able to avenge this great humiliation. I want that lowly maid to never stand up again, and that prodigal son one day when I, Qin Yun, take off, I will kill his entire family." And after listening to Qin Yun's words, Qin Zaya is thinking, although returning to Mulan realm and march is not in line with common sense, looking at Yun's current momentum and speed of advancement, it is definitely not impossible. Thinking about it this way, it is true that he is carrying the destiny. I should try my best to help him. Then Chino says to Qin Yun, "Well, sister, naturally believes Beles that Yun is a natural talent muling. After March is just a stepping stone for you." And Qin Yun says to Chinia, "Of course, in order to get promoted in the past 3 months, I also needed my sister to help me with the wasteland." And then a servant comes to that place who is very nervous, and he has something in his hand, and he is saying to Qin Jioyo, "Acting head, it's bad. The Chu family has set their sights on the wasteland. We are discussing," and when both of them listen to that servant, they both get very shocked. On the other hand, we see Chu Tianxia, who is getting very happy seeing the drugs, and he is also thinking, "Qin Yun, you want to buy wasteland to refine superior treasures and elixirs. You wish, look how I use the money to cut off the source of the trouble." On the other hand, the servant is telling Mr. D it is this piece of wasteland that the Chu family wants to seize. And Qin Yun is getting very angry, and he is saying angrily, "Damn it! It has to be this piece in the middle. The important wasteland. We want to connect the wastelands on both sides. Without it, we won't be able to connect the wasteland into a large area. It will be difficult to refine the treasure of Ming Yuan realm and the 2nd grade superior elixir." Then Qin Jerio says, "Alas, not only that this wasteland is also the most critical part of the mission that the master gave me before he left. If this matter fails, my position as the so-called acting head of the family will probably be over." And Qin Yun is saying, "Who would have thought that the prodigal son's methods were so sophisticated and ruthless?" And Qin Jioyo says, logically speaking, that prodigal son would only be a spendthrift and would not have thought of such a brilliant method. J.N. Yun, do you know who the Chu family is and why they want to seize this land? Then the servant says, "This is exactly the place that Chu Tianxia to rob it. Is said that he happened to hit this piece of land when he was playing coin tossing, so he suddenly wanted to buy it to make jewelry. And Qin Yun is happy saying, tossing a coin to determine the location. Isn't that random refining jewelry? That's ridiculous. Humph. What a crap trick it turns. Out to be just a game that ruins the family, just a coincidence. Then Tianxia laughs and says, if it wasn't intentional, the threat to us would be much smaller. The Yi family has already promised to sell these 3 pieces of wasteland to us, and the deposit has been paid. If the contract is breached, the Yi family will not only have to pay liquidated damages, but will also completely offend the Qing family. It's not worth it. And Qin Yun says to Qinya, what my sister said is right. Even if the prodigal son spends money to shake the Yi family at most, we can just add a little more premium, as long as the family knows how to weigh the pros and cons. They will definitely stop when they see the benefits. And Qin Gioyo says to the servant Jian Yun, do you know who the Chu family sent to negotiate? So the servant says it's Muling, and as soon as Qinan hears Ming's name, he starts laughing loudly, and while laughing, he says that went to negotiate. This is a huge joke, she knows nothing about negotiating business, and Shiju says, well, indeed, if I had known earlier, I wouldn't have to worry about after this. The scene shifts, and we see a man, and this man is Chu family steward Qing, and Qing comes to Tianxia, and he is thinking, damn it, I have always been the one to negotiate the Chu family's business affairs so that I can make some money. But when the prodigal son came back, he actually gave up on me and sent a lackey to negotiate a multi-million spirit coin. It's ridiculous. This piece of land, the Chen family took the initiative. I might not be able to take it easy, let alone a yellow-haired girl. I want to see how that prodigal son will lower himself to beg me when she returns with failure. Then Choing shows the list to Chun and says, young master, this is the list of the 20 weapon refiners that you've borrowed from madam. Please take a look. But Chu Tianxia says to Choing, well, this is a matter of great importance to my family. I have to take a closer look at who they are. And after listening to Tianxia, Choing is thinking, just pretend as much as you want. Why do you need to borrow a weapon refiner? I don't think you can even buy land later. How can you save face? And then Mu Luling comes to this place, and Mu Luling comes here and greets Qing. Then she says, this is the housekeeper CH from the mansion. Right? Luling has heard of you for a long time. And Xing, looking at Muling, says, you don't deserve this admiration after all the young master dared to entrust you with 1 million spirit coins business, which shows that he values you very much. But I notice that you have either a storage ring nor a paper contract in your hand. Have you failed to live up to my trust? And Tianxia smilingly says to Muling, Luling, you've been gone for so long, have you settled it? So Muling says, I am glad that I have accomplished the mission, and Chiu Ming laughingly says, ha ha, how shameless, you have no results at all yet. You still dare to say that you have accomplished your mission. Could it be that you have fought for the opportunity for me to negotiate again, which means you have fulfilled my mission? But then Tianxia interrupts Zhou Ming and says it's hot. Luling, please continue. Then Mu. Luling starts speaking as manager. Cho said, I did not bring back the land deed, but that was because the content of the transaction has changed. Originally, the young master ordered Ling to buy this acre of wasteland and stated that he would only pay a premium and not bargain. Just as a waste of money, the young master gave 5 million spirit coins, and the price Luling initially agreed upon was exactly 1.5 million. And as soon as Qing listens to Ming's words, he starts laughing loudly and says, while laughing, ha ha, that's it. 1.2 million for this piece of land is already a sky-high price, and you're paying 5 million and you don't even have a title deed. Are you still so complacent about this today? I have finally opened my eyes. Then we see some servants who are secretly listening to their conversation, and one of the servants is thinking, alas, a little girl, she is definitely unreliable. And the second servant is thinking, how can a prodigal son's lackey be trusted? And the third servant is thinking, negotiated to the lowest price, but still no title deed. It's really funny. Another servant is thinking, The vision of our prodigal young master, hey hey. Then Tianxia says to Chiu Ming manager Chiu, please be patient, Lu Ling hasn't finished talking yet, and Chiu Ming is speaking to Mu Ling, oh Miss Mu, please continue, if you have any funny joke, just tell. Us and Mu Lu Ling takes out a year and marks the map with that year, and she is speaking 5 million. In addition to taking over the wasteland ordered by the young master, it also included 2 nearby wastelands. A rough estimate of the total area is 2 acres and 7/10. The reason why I didn't take the land deed is because it's a serious matter, and the decision should be made by the young master the seller. Mr. E is waiting in the accounting office if the young master is interested. Just let him know, and the contract will be presented immediately. Everything is settled. It is not. What some people have taken out of context, it is just an intention. And Qing gets a big shock after listening to all Ming's words, and he says, how is this possible? And Chu Tianxia is very happy after listening to Mu Ying's words, and he shows thumbs up to Mu Luling and says, exceeded the target Luling. I really didn't make a mistake. I am very satisfied and can sign directly. And Mu Luling says to Chu Tianxia, yes, young master Luling. Thanks, young master, for your trust and cultivation. But then Qing puts his hand on the map and says, wait. Let's not talk about the fact that the Qing family paid a deposit for the middle piece, but the 2 pieces next to it have already been confirmed to be sold to the Qing family. How could the E family be willing to risk breach of contract and offend the Qin family by selling it to us at such a low price? So Mu Ling tells Qing, this is very simple, because the Qin family has to pay the bill for 3 months, and we can settle it all at once. And Qing is saying even if the Chen family pays in installments, the price doesn't make sense. But Mu Luling is saying to Chom Ming originally, the family did not agree, but they couldn't resist me, and I did the math for them. The family's businesses include 3 restaurants and 2 iron shops. The restaurant business is average with a daily profit of no more than 3,000 spirit coins. But if 200,000 is invested immediately to open up at Honey Road, the business can at least double the same goes for iron shops. If you spend millions to buy meteorite iron from the Western Chen Empire, how big is the difference in 3 months between waiting for the payment and investing gradually and using large amounts of cash and expanding immediately the former? Only gained 200,000 spirit coins, while the later gained at least 7 million spirit coins. If we take into account the autumn exam, the number will more than double if it were you. What would you choose? And after listening to all these things from Mu Ling, Qing starts getting a heart attack, and he says, Puff, who the hell are you? How could the Mu family have someone like you? And Mu Luling said, smile smilingly, as you said, I am just the young master's lackey. And Chu Tianxia is smilingly thinking few people probably know that Luling has been interested in numerology since she was a child, but due to the suppression of her family, she has never been able to practice it. Coupled with the heavenly bead divination I exchanged from the system, she became even more powerful, and then Chu Tianxia raises Ming's hand. Then he says, I declare from today on Mu Ling is promoted to the candidate for the chief steward of the Purple Marquis mansion, and after listening to Chaina's words, Qing gets very angry, and he is thinking, you are just a lackey and a prodigal son. Since you have humiliated me today, don't blame me for returning this. Humiliation. Then Tianxia is leaving from this place and thinking it's best to send something like a rat to a snake's nest. On the other hand, we see Qin Yun, who has got the news, and he is getting very angry, and he is saying, how is this possible? How is this possible? That actually did it. She actually dared. And Qin Xiao is saying, Miss Jiang, are you sure that Mu Ling just made a few calculations and turned the situation around? It's absolutely true. The E family has sent people to give a lot of rare treasures to make amends. But we see that Qin Yun is getting very angry, and he throws away all the treasures that he has. And he is saying, who cares about his treasures? I want that wasteland without the wasteland. How can I refine weapons? How can I upgrade? How can I shock the heroes at the autumn night banquet? Then Qin Yun takes out his sword and goes ahead saying, "Isan and the prodigal son, I Qin Yun will kill your entire family." But Chino says to Qin, "Yun Yun, aren't you tired of saying this kind of thing so often?" And on hearing Qinxia's words, Qin Yun gets a little confused and he asks Qinia's sister, "What do you mean?" And Qinia is thinking, alas, when did the once high-spirited Qin Yun turned into a reckless man who only knows how to shout for war and killing? But it was that prodigal son who was really unexpected this time. Then Chino says to Qin Yun Yun regarding your inheritance, "Our family still has a small piece of wasteland. That can be used temporarily." And Qin Yun is saying, "But that would greatly reduce the time and affect the most important thing to regain destiny is time, even if the Muan realm is not a big problem. But what about the Tongxian and Chu that follow?" And after listening to Qin Yun, Qin Xia is thinking that's right. Yun is right. The time of destiny is indeed very important. After all, he suffered such a great loss. I still need to understand him a little bit, but Qin XO says to Qin Yun, "Don't worry." Yun didn't that prodigal son say he wanted to refine jewelry. He would definitely lose money by then. And Qin Yun gets surprised on hearing Chino's words, and he says, "Sister, you mean the Wasteland Guild," and the narrator tells us the Wasteland Guild is an official organization established by the imperial court to prevent the waste of wasteland among the people. Whenever there is wasteland trading among the people, the Wasteland Guild will come to verify the monthly production and profit minimum. If the requirements are not met within the deadline, the wasteland will be forcibly reclaimed and re-auctioned. And Qin Yun is saying happily, "My sister is right with that prodigal son. He will definitely lose a lot of money in this way. The Wasteland Guild will take back the property for auction, and this wasteland will be ours sooner or later," and Ngio says that's right. However, the Chu family is a large family after all, and there must be many weapon refiners in the house. I'm just afraid that those old guys are giving advice to the prodigal son, and then a man wearing a black robe comes to that place, and he is saying, "It seems you need an ally," and Qin Yun is saying to the man with the black robe, "Who are you?" Then the man wearing the black robe shows his face, and it is Cho Ming, and they both get very surprised to oming after this. The scene shifts, and we see a man to whom a bird has come with a message, and the man is saying after seeing the message, "I didn't expect this loser to have such good luck," and this is Chui. And Chui is saying, "If I had known that he was determined to turn against the Chen family, I wouldn't have had to launch so many rumor campaigns earlier. Now it seems that I have fallen behind, but that's all he can do, while my second uncle and the others haven't arrived in Kyoto. Yet I can start the backup plan I prepared earlier," and Chu, his servant, says to Chu, what the Master M was to use the chest pieces that were planted in the palace back then in Chu. He says smilingly, "That's right. In addition to the matter of the wasteland, there is also an invitation to the autumn night banquet as the eldest son. If you don't even have an invitation, do you still have the nerve to compete with me for the position of head of the family?" And while leaving this place, the servant is saying to Chu, "But master, can you really accomplish anything with just that person? After all, the strength of the heavenly Jedi Chu family should not be underestimated." And Chu, he is saying if it were an ordinary day, it would be difficult to applaud. But who can blame that prodigal son for facing internal and external troubles? Now let's not talk about the housekeeper Chio, who secretly communicated with the Qin family and corresponded with us. He was so dedicated. Take Qin Jio, for example. There is no way she would stand by and watch her precious brother fall behind, and the servant understands everything. Chu, he said, and says, "Yes, young master, I understand. I will do it right away." Then the servant leaves the place, and Chu, he is taking out his sword from the sheath and saying in the air while making puns, "I want to see how you are going to break this chain of killings on the other side." We see Chu Tianxia, who sneezes, and he is saying, "This sneeze must be from Qin Yun, or that guy Chu. He cursing me. I have to plan my next move quickly to avoid being overtaken by them." And then Chuan Sha gets a notification from the system. Seeing which, Chuanxia is thinking there is only one chance to receive spiritual spring initiation, even if you inject one. 5 million? You probably won't be able to reach the Muan realm instead of doing that. It's better to use it all for the golden lottery and increase the probability of winning the random prize 1.5 million golden lottery. I want treasures related to refining equipment. Then Chuanxia asks the system to open the inbox, and the system tells Chuanxia, Ancient Alchemy Manual Fragment, Beautiful Model Part 1, and Chu Tianxia is thinking sure enough of a lot of money is a good thing. Although, this book is not a complete one. It is exactly what I need most for jewelry making. Wait, I should have suppressed the beginning of Destiny by robbing Qin Yan's wasteland. But why didn't the side quest give any rewards? Is this not over yet? What would be the variable? But then suddenly Mu Luling comes to Chuanxia, and looking at her, it seems that she is a little nervous and she is speaking to Chuanxia in nervousness. Young master, the people from the Wasteland Guild are here. Madam has gone to the hall to meet them. Let me inform you, and Chuanxia also gets a little surprised when he hears from Muling that people from Wasteland Guild have come to this place. But Chu Tianxia says smilingly, Humph. So that's why you're waiting for me here after this? Some people come to Chania's mother and say to her, Liang Chio, the deputy anvo of the Wasteland Guild, greets the first-rank lady, and Chuan's mother tells Liang Chio, there is no need to be so polite. Deputy Anang, just sit down and have some tea. But Lenio says, Madam, you don't have to be polite. We are here this time, just to ask you a few questions about your son's purchase of Wasteland. Then Chuanxia says, to Leng Chio, Deputy Anvo Leng doesn't need to ask my mother. Just asked me. Then Liango says to Chuanxia, since Master Chu is here, I will speak. Frankly, I heard that Master Chu was new to the Wasteland. I wonder how many treasures he plans to produce per month, how much profit will, and after listening to, Lingo Chuanga says, monthly production of treasures should be all. As for the profit, Deputy Annan, you haven't done your homework. How about you talk to me about profits when I'm a spendthrift? And as soon as Leono hears Chana's words, he gets very surprised, and he says, young Master Chu, are you kidding me? And Chuanxia says to Lianio, kidding, I've told you so many times that I want to make jewelry. Why don't you believe me? And after listening to Chana's words, Leonio says to Chen's, Mother, madam, please forgive me since you have made such a decision. We will have no choice but to come and reclaim the wasteland at the beginning of next month. After all, the imperial court has issued an order that wasteland cannot be treated as a joke. Then Chiano's mother says to Ling Chio, Deputy Anvo Ling, stop acting. We are all smart people. So let's speak frankly. I also want to hear what kind of line the Wasteland Guild has drawn from my shower, and Leonio tells Chen's mother the monthly output of treasures is 600 pieces among them. 200 pieces are above the 7th level of Lianin, and 100 pieces are Ming Neon treasures. Monthly profit, at least 2 million. And listening to Liang, Chio Chuan, Sha smilingly says, ha ha, I knew it would be like this. But then, Mu Luling says in front of them, it is ridiculous to produce 600 treasures a month with less than 3 acres of wasteland, especially the Ming Yuan realm. Treasures, there are only 2,000 of them in the entire Heavenly Jedi City. And then Chuan's mother stands up angrily, and she is saying, furthermore, we only bought the land for 5 million. But we have to make a profit of 2 million in the first month. This is too outrageous. Is the Wasteland Guild prosing our Heavenly Jedi Chu family? The Chu family is giving you too much face, isn't it?